Tony from her Homestead Skills, and today we're going to discuss a few ideas on surviving the shortage of canning supplies. One of the things that I do when I'm running short of jars, and I look around the house and I determine if there is something with dry goods in them that I can move into another container and take advantage of the mason jar. I do tend to use mason jars for dry goods all the time, love them for that purpose. But when you're short of jars, definitely the dry goods can go elsewhere. And like one of the things that I use in a pint jar every day is sugar. And certainly this can go into a sugar bowl. And there's one pint jar free. The other thing is that I put lots and lots of spices in pint jars, so I could probably go through my spice rack, my spice cupboard, and likely get about 10 pint jars. As well, I tend to store a lot of dry goods like pastas and the dried onions, the flakes that I made, and the canning spice that I put together myself. I tend to store a lot of this stuff in quart jars. So if I looked around, for certain I could find at least another 24 quart jars that I could take advantage of. So I think a lot of people that do a lot of canning find that they do use their jars for other purposes, and perhaps you've forgotten that you might have some tucked away in the cupboard someplace with dry goods that can be moved into Ziploc bags or some other container, a plastic, plastic one with a lid. It can be used temporarily while you use your mason jar. Certainly they can be put back into mason jars once you have emptied whatever it is that you're canning out of it. Now the next item is probably a little more controversial, and for those of you that have been canning for as many years as I have, probably have done this, although few will admit to it, and that is reusing used lids. And yeah. Okay, and if a lot of you are like me, you don't throw away your used lids. I happen to keep mine in, at least the regular lids, I keep them in these jars. I used to toss them in the drawer with my cutlery until the cutlery drawer got too full of them. And then I devised a means of storing them in the wide mouth jars. Now the wide mouth lids I have to store differently, but the regular ones absolutely work like this. So what I'm going to do is, and actually when I do pull them off, I'm very careful. I use a spoon and just kind of ease it off. So most of these lids are reusable. I have used them for dry goods mostly. You know, I don't. Obviously, I'm going to suggest that if you have new lids, always use a new lid. But if the suppliers tell you only use the lid once and then they don't provide stock, well, you have to come up with your own survival techniques. And one of them is to attempt to use your lids a second time. Now, I'm going to do this experiment. I have to can mushrooms. And mushrooms are not cheap. And I am going to, I've cleaned them all, and I'm going to blanch or at least cook them up for about 5 minutes, put them in half pint jars, which will mean that I'll use quite a few, more than I would if I say put them in a quart jar. And I'm going to go through these lids, and I'm going to determine which ones are the best out of the lot. That is one that I would use. I wash them all before I put them here, and yeah, some of them the crease in the little rubber is a little deeper than in others. I would probably use all of these if I had to. unless they were severely damaged or dirty. See, but I'm going to pick through the best ones, and I'm going to find about 10 of them. So that's 3. Now I have 1, 2, 3 of these jars, plus a large a quart jar full of them. So it's not as though I don't have a ton of these jars. I do. So I have a ton of choice here. And some of them they've been around for a number of years. I don't know why I don't throw them out, I just don't. And I'm sure a lot of you are just like me. And right now I'm just trying to pick out the best. Like I said, I could probably use most of these, but I'm going to pick out the best of them that are clean on both sides, that the rubber isn't too indented. Now that one almost looks like it's never been used. So I've got 3, 6, 7. Here's another one that looks like it's barely been used, 8. Now that one's a little deeper indented. 9. I don't know if that one is even a Bernardin. So 9. 10. Let's go with a dozen. I don't think I'm going to need a dozen, but let's get a dozen. 11. 12. Okay. 13 and 14 for good measure. No, I've just barely gone through half of one of my jars. Put these all back. Seal that up. And what I'm going to do with these is actually they've all been washed before they ever were put in this jar. But what I'm going to do is boil them for 5 minutes. Normally you wouldn't do that, but with this we want the rubber to become a little softer again. So I'm just going to pour boiling water over them. I'm not even going to boil them. I'm just going to pour boiling water over them and let them sit in the boiling water while I get everything else ready. Okay? Okay, my water has boiled, and my pressure can water is also boiling. So we're going to get this show on the road. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is scoop some water out here for our old lids. And definitely boiling water. And what I'm going to do is just drop them in one at a time so that they do have the opportunity to, the rubber has the opportunity to touch boiling water. So. Now I don't even know if this process is necessary, but this is the way I'm doing it. This is an experiment after all. Looks like I need some more water. Okay. There we go. And now we're going to use the rest of this water to cook up the mushrooms. I don't have quite enough boiling water in there, so I'll put some more in. That should be enough. And we want to cook these for about, oh yes, that's plenty of water. And we want to cook these for about 5 minutes now. And they will shrink down in size a fair bit. So we'll put the lid back on and get them back up to a boil. I've got my vinegar here to clean the rims. I've got my lids soaking in boiling water. I've got my rims, and I've got 2, 4, 6, 7 jars ready, and I've got more should I need them. So So I have no idea how many of these will take. Now, I don't need to use old lids. I do have more than adequate new lids. This is an experiment. I've used old lids when I've water bath canned. I've never done them with pressure canning, which is a little bit more of a stress on them than going through a water bath canning. So we'll see how that works out. Okay, the mushrooms have boiled and they're ready to go into mason jars. Let's see if I can, yes, okay. That is on camera. All right. And they have shrunk down a fair bit. And my habit is to normally, fill the jars first and pack them before I put the liquid in. I don't normally like to do one single jar at a time. I know some people do, but I don't. I prefer not to do it that way. And I want to pack these jars as tightly as I can with mushrooms. And maybe use a spoon for that. Yes. Surprisingly, you don't get that much out of 4 packs of mushrooms. And believe you me, these things are expensive. I don't want to waste them. So I'm expecting every jar to seal. We'll have to see. Wow. Big canner for such a small job. Okay. 3. Lucky if I get 6 here. Oh, good. At least I did get the 6. Now, first I'm going to pack them down and see if I want to redistribute any. It doesn't look like it. We do want to leave an inch head space. But these also have to be topped up with liquid. Maybe a couple of these can go into that one there. And that's part of why I like to do them one stage at a time, just to make sure I get them all as even as possible. But to each his own method. Okay, now for the liquid. And I'm going to use the liquid that they boiled in. There are those that would say discard that and use fresh water, but and then save this to make a mushroom stock. But you know what? I could can this up in a larger jar as well and save it for a mushroom stock. But right now, I don't see any reason why throwing this out would be a valuable thing to do. The water certainly has the mushroom flavor in it as well. Okay, and now I'm going to debubble and determine if we want to put more liquid in each one. think a few of them could be used a little top up. They look awesome. But when it cost me $12 for those packages of mushrooms, these are $2 a piece, so not cheap at all. Okay, actually what I'm going to do is get some pint jars. Since we were going to have the space, why not can up some of this? I don't really have time to reduce it, so we'll can it up as it is. Perhaps another one. Okay. Can we get one more? Yes, we can. If not, we won't. Not quite. Okay. So we'll put that on the side, actually. Okay, at this point we will use the vinegar and clean each jar. Clean the rims of each. Pressure canner is ready to receive these, and they have to be pressure canned for 45 minutes at 10 pounds pressure, which appears to be a long time to me, but that's what it takes. Okay, and now for the used canning lids. Six, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I got enough here. Ooh, that was not bad. Oh, actually, I do have a couple of extra. Okay, good. All right. Rings. Finger tight. And I'm going to start by putting the pint jars in first. Yes, we can fit the last one in there. Just fits nicely. Okay, so now put the lid on and let this vent for 10 minutes. Geez, you are tight. That's what happens when you get a brand new seal. Stronger than I am. Okay, it's on nice and tight now. It'll have to vent for 10 minutes and then we will put the little 10-pound weight on it. I'll take one of the rings off so that it is a 10-pound weight. Okay, that's it. We'll get back to you later. Okay, so I have moved my canned mushrooms into this box, and as you can see, that's what they are. They're still all very hot, but I've got them in the Bernardin cardboard case here. Let them cool down slowly. Every one has sealed. Every single one has sealed. And this is using the used lids. I thought for a minute that one of these large ones would not, but it just took a little longer than the rest, and then I heard a ping, and I checked, and every one of them has sealed. I'm not surprised. Now I'm going to mark these. I'm going to mark each one of these with a 2, so I know that this is the second use of this lid. I will not use them a third time. But this way I know to throw these ones out. And this is still hot. Okay. And silly me, I forgot to put some vinegar in the canning jar, or in the canner. Hopefully, yeah, they seem to be a little bit cloudy, which I hate that. It's going to be terrible to wash these jars. Okay, well that's my video for now. Hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully we all learned something here, and my experiment proves that you can use these lids twice at least. I don't know if I would attempt a third time, as long as you open them all very carefully. And anything that I destroy when I open, I just throw away. But as long as they're in good shape, I do save them. And as you can see, when in a pinch, they can be used again. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment. I'd really like to hear what other people think of this video. Anyway, thank you and have a great day. Okay, lifting each one by the lid. All sealed. All sealed. All sealed. Unfortunately, I forgot to put the vinegar in the canner, and they're cloudy. But other than that, everything is sealed. And the last one.